Hello everyone, my name is Pooja Devdas Nikam. So today's date is the 13th January 2022. So I'm going to explain on today's topic compiler, assembler and interpreter. Firstly I can explain the what is a compiler and interpreter and assembler, and another one is what are the use of a compiler, assembler and interpreter. So another one is what are the use of Java programming language, compiler and interpreter and assembler. Firstly, I can explain the compiler. Compiler is used to the Java programming language, and another one is compiler is used to the source code convert into the byte code, and interpreter is a byte code convert into the machine language, and compiler is a compiler is faster, and interpreter is also slower. It's a compiler is check the code at a time, and compiler is check the code at a time, and interpreter is a code check the line by line check, and execute the program is also called as a interpreter. So it's a called as a interpreter, and another one is what is the use of what is the use of in assembler. Assembler is a convert the assembly code into the machine code. So it's called as a assembly language and assembly code. So is a compiler is also compiler is a convert into the source code within a programmer to the machine level language, and it's a compiler is a compiler is a high level compiler is convert into the high level language into the machine level language at a time. So it's called as a compiler. So interpreter is convert into the high level language to high level language perform high level language to program to the machine level language line by line. Assembler is assembly level program is also to check the machine level language, and another one is the program is assembler write the particular hardware program, and interpreter is writing to the particular language, so it's called as a assembler. It's a difference between assembler and interpreter is used to the assembler is a compiler that translate the assembly language into the machine level code. It's called as a machine level language, and another one is a it's used to the Java programming language, and it's a compiler language is a translator to convert the high level program into the machine level understandable to the machine code. So it's used to the process, and compiler is a convert to the whole program machine code at a time, and it's if there are any syntax and symmetric error is also compiler will be indicate, then is called as a compiler. So it's check the program to all the display the all errors. It is a possible to the it not possible to the execute the whole program is without fixing error, and it's used to the compiler is at a time code check. So it's called as a compiler, and another one is interpreter. So interpreter language is also translate to convert high level language and low level high level language into the machine code, and so it's like as a compiler interpreter, and convert into the source code into the machine code. So it's a machine code is also check the line by line, and it's scanning to the line by line, and to lower then another one is a interpreter is a display an error to the at a time, and it's a program will be fix that interpreter into the next line program, and such as Python and Ruby, PHP, Perl is an example for a interpreter based language. So another one is a assembler language. So assembler language is also used to the high level language to machine language, and it's there to there is another language, and it's called as a assembly language. So assembly language is a difference assembly language is also difference between the high level language, and another one is a machine level language. It closer to the machine level language, and machine level language and high level language. So it's called as a low level language. So it's called as it's called as a assembler. And the assembler work to the translate into the converting the assembly language into the program into the machine code. So it's called as a assembler. So a compiler is a software compiler that is a software program convert into the high level language into the machine level language, and interpreter is a software interpreter is a software translate high level program into the machine level language, and another one is a assembler is used to the software that convert into the program, and return the assembly language. So into the machine language, it's called as a it's called as a assembler. So it's a functionality provide the compiler and interpreter and assembler language. So it's a compiler functionality is also provide the compiler to the high level program to the machine language at a time. So its interpreter is also used to the high level program into the machine language at a line by line check. And so another one is a assembler. So assembler is a convert into the assembler is a convert into the language to the program to the machine language. So it's a called as a assembler. And language is also used to the compiler, and another one is interpreter and assembler. So compiler is used to the language C, and another one is a C++ is a compiler. So it's a compiler to convert the code, and another one language is a interpreter. So interpreter is a language is also used to the Ruby and Python and PHP uses to the interpreter and assembly language. So it's used to the so it's all about the assembler, compiler, and interpreter. So thank you for watching video.